Hey everyone, welcome back to Dane and Derek this week or month. I guess this month. It is
It's kind of where we're at.
yeah, it's September 2024 when we are recording this.
Yeah.
On the 26th, a Thursday. A regular Thursday.
A good old fashioned Thursday.
Yeah. How have you been, man?
I have been kind of up and down is kind of how I'd describe it. Like this week has actually been super nice. Honestly, like I'm feeling a little bit of like the end of the week blues, like I'm like a little worn out. But like the days have all been good. I've been, getting a lot done and enjoying my time, which is really, really nice. But like the week before that was kind of a small nightmare. I was just sort of like pushed. I think if I added it up, last week would have been like maybe a 60, 70 hour week.
Oh, geez.
Which like in some cases, like some people work a lot. So like, it's all relative. But like for me, that's not how I like to live life. So it was just pretty intense. And unfortunately, I'm just sort of stuck working with a very difficult person in terms of my clinic. So I don't know if I've explained this here on the show, but I'm doing clinic. I'm working part time, and I'm doing a full class load. So for anyone who doesn't know, a clinic is kind of like it's kind of like residency is for doctors. Like it's a period in time in which like under pretty significant supervision and with a significant amount of mentorship, you begin practicing law. And the way it works is it's like a year-long course, which is unusual in college, of course, in higher ed. And you are paired off with a person for the entire year. And the person I've been paired off with is a challenge for me, is a very kind way of putting it. Because this is a public show, even small as it is, I'm going to refrain from other sort of things because I just don't want to get into it. I don't like, colleagues, still a colleague, even if I'm frustrated.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. Like, this is a space for us to also just not talk about it, but also to acknowledge that like work can be frustrating and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. And then, so stuff like that. And at the same time, like, I've been writing pretty regularly, again, which is,
that's good.
Really nice. I'm not working on a new novel yet, but I've been doing the thing. I've been trusting the process. When the process is just kind of write at random, and then the ideas will start to come. And this week, like literally, I like they started, like the ideas started to arrive once more, and that alone was just like an amazing feeling, a sort of relief. I don't know if I'm going to stick with any of these ideas or even try with any of these ideas, but the ideas are back, and like it's different than being like, oh, I could write this little thing, this little snippet of something. And it became more of like, oh no, there's enough meat on this idea that it could like spin out into a whole book. And that was a great feeling. So yeah, that's kind of my update. Oh, hold on. One thought.
Okay.
Next time I'll get the weeks, but let's see. It's October. This will come out in October, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe
we might make it. I should have some time tomorrow, so this might
sweet.
this might come out in September.
Okay, all right. So ish. This is going to be an ish. We're right on the cusp. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April. T-minus 7 months till the end of law school.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll get the weeks next time.
That's fun. That's a lot, but that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's coming. It's a coming.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry that like, Work's rough. I also feel you with work being rough.
Yeah. How are you?
It's okay. I think been ping-ponged around at different teams in the last few weeks, and they've kind of settled on where I'm at, and it's not a bad thing. But I think it is just a change, and there are consequences to changes when a corporation makes a change in their policy, in their practice, in their direction. And so I think everyone's just feeling a lot of unease at the office, and I think it bleeds into how people treat each other, and it's not fun to be around. So I'm trying to not vent about it all the time and trying to be productive, but in like my other aspects of my life. But that is definitely hard when like you're exhausted emotionally and mentally from a day of work, where everyone's kind of a little bit broken. So I think I'm grateful to have a job, though, you know, in the state of the world as it is right now. And I'm, you know, trying to make the most of it, and we'll see where things go. I'm hoping I'll get a little more time to work on creative projects like in October. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'd say, yeah, it's nice to be on the mic, though. It feels like it's been a really long time. So
it's been a shorter period of time than the last gap we took, for sure, but it's been a minute. It's been a minute. And you know, sometimes and more I've just been feeling like sometimes it's just about doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter the gap between things, and it just being there is huge.
Yeah.
And you know, like, man, just sometimes it just things are just full. Life is just full in a way that I don't know if I ever really expected it to be. I don't know if you did, but
yeah, I think when people say like, "Oh, I feel old," or "Oh, I'm getting old," what they really mean to say is, "Oh, I'm full. I'm overstuffed. Like, I'm uncomfortably full."
Yeah.
Because that's really what I think getting old is. It's not that. It's just that life is getting so full to the brim that the real struggle everybody faces is slowing it down and having just empty time.
Yeah.
So
and you know, I've been thinking about that sometimes, and you know, like, I think in a lot of eras and a lot of for a lot of people still, to be fair, I think a lot of that fullness comes from having children, rather than a career alone, or
the state of the world, or what you need to do to pay rent.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I think that, like, sort of fullness, that sort of age, was associated with a phase in life in which like you have children. You are now a part of like a new. You're now an older generation. You're a parent generation, whereas like I feel this like fullness when, you know, it's stemming from a career thing, you know, and it's just maybe I sometimes think maybe that's not the way it's supposed to be, you know, that maybe it's unwise or a poor design of the world at the moment.
Yeah. Speaking of design,
transitions galore.
Yeah.
You probably saw the title of this episode and are like, when are they going to get to it? Like,
yeah, when are we going to talk about all this stuff? But yeah, Dungeons and Dragons 2025, D&D 50, the next non-6th edition infinite D&D from what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
For context, everybody, Dane has told me he's been playing the new version. I have not been playing the new version, and I really highly doubt I will play the new version. So I'm very curious about your experience with it, and just sort of the I mean, I've seen some of the discourse online, but I haven't really dug into it.
I've kind of avoided the discourse online just because, like, so let's put it this way. As per usual, we will claim our credentials as being true blue D&D players who played original editions and second editions and advanced and all of that. But it also means that, like, you and I have, I think, at least touched nearly all the editions in a meaningful way.
Yes.
I don't know how much of third you played.
A little bit.
Is that the one you've touched the least?
That is the one. That's the one I've touched the least. Yeah.
Yeah, the one I've touched the least is actually probably like advanced second edition. It's like the second edition is kind of the area where I'm less.
Gotcha.
But anyways, that being said, you and I have gone through this a couple times. You know, wherein like something that's kind of like almost underrated about the hobby as it currently stands is that, like, I don't know what the numbers would look like, and I'd actually be really interested if somebody had these numbers somewhere. But the majority of the D&D, I think a significant portion at least of the D&D players now have only ever played 5th edition. You know, so there's not, like, you and I are kind of about this, and kind of, I would imagine, I won't speak for you, but I would guess that there's a side of this where for you it's like, yeah, a new edition, and there will be upsides and downsides to it, like them all. You know, like 5th edition isn't some holy writ, and neither was 4th, and neither was 3rd, or this is certainly isn't. But because so many people have come into the scene, I think that there's a side of it that, since this is like the first big change to the game, I think that there's some angst, undeserved angst. I will say that nothing to be said about like the OGL situation and some of the things that WotC, or what I would probably describe as Hasbro more accurately, are forcing and pushing and stuff. Like, there's some real complaints there, but like about the game as it stands, this updated 5.5 or whatever you want to call it, 5th edition,
yeah,
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's it's got its upsides and downsides. Like, I think there's a certain streamlining of the game. Like, the fact that subclasses all come online at 3rd level, both is like a neat, like, oh, that's nice and easy for everyone to understand. Cool. As a GM, I know now, like, okay, 3rd level, things are going to change. Neat. Great. Like, that's cool design. And it kind of robs the flavor of like Warlock and Cleric. It does. Playing a martial class probably has never been better than in this game. Okay. Oh my God. Like, being a fighter fucking rocks. Being a barbarian rocks. Paladin, people are mad about Paladin because of the smite thing. I still think it's better. If you're using a weapon in this game, it's improved. It's just a much more exciting, dynamic thing. It reminds me of it does a little bit of what a 4th edition did, where you get to do a special thing when you attack. Like, different weapons matter. They've attached it to weapons, so each weapon has like kind of like Elden Ring has a weapon arts. It's basically the same like idea. And so, like, if you're using a big old warhammer, you're probably going to get to knock something down. If you're using a pike, you can push things out of your way. If you've got an axe, like, you can cleave, so you'll be making like extra attacks. Like, it's very, very cool. And so what it does is it makes different weapons matter. So you want to actually be the fighter who's going to like bring the right tool for the moment, you know, which is fun. And at the same time, but it's not as overwhelming such that it makes a fighter feel like a wizard did in 4th edition. So I think there are things to like about the game. I think certain spells have been fixed and improved. I'd say the balance is probably a little bit better on the whole. I see fewer. They patched a lot of the holes that was in 5th edition in terms of like, well, that's a crazy combo that we didn't really account for, but now 10 years on we know about it, so we're gonna change it so it's not there, and I think that's good. I think there are crazy new combos, of course, because they change the rules and then you can't predict, and so like, people are like, oh, this is broken, and I'm like, I don't know, you remember coffee locks? Like, what are you talking about? Like, if you don't want any of the crazy stuff, don't let people multi-class. So yeah, like, I think it's very polished is what I'll say. There's some that I think my biggest complaint might actually be the backgrounds, because the backgrounds do a lot of what I hoped, but there aren't enough of them. So either you have to hack them, or rules as written, basically every barbarian is going to formerly have been a farmer. You know, like it just, there are only so many options. So to kind of give my full accounting of it, it's 5th edition polished. I don't know if improved is exactly the right word. But it's an update. The game balance seems a little better. The mechanics seem a little bit more fun. But it's not a different game. Not really. But, know, in my mind, 5th edition and 3rd edition aren't actually that far off from each other either. So it is roughly backwards compatible, but I will say this. I would expect that if you were to play 5th edition again in the near future, you probably will play this version of it. Because I would expect people to slowly get on board, because there are new fun options, and especially for the martial characters, I think it's going to take and it's going to stick, and people are not going to want to go back. So I would expect to play it someday, maybe, probably, and it's not a bad time. It'll be a good time. I think the only problem with it is the problem that kind of remains with 5th edition. I don't know about 3rd edition. I have to really look at it. And partially because the culture isn't really with it anymore. It's the same problem 5th edition always has, which is a slight lack of identity. Like, it's not like Shadow Dark or Dungeon World, where there's like a really strong mechanic and mechanical identity and clear goals, and this is what kind of game this is. It's not, like, and so like, I think it just has those strengths and weaknesses that it always has had, and it's plenty fun, and so in that way it's great, and I hope people have a great time with it. But yeah, that's my basic take as of right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Huh. So it's not like microtransaction to D&D at the moment.
No. That's the online space.
Okay.
The virtual tabletop situation, the D&D Beyond situation.
Yeah.
I think that bums me out. That makes me sad. Like I saw someone using D&D Beyond, and they're like, "Oh, I ran out of characters," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And then I found out they were like, "Yeah, you can only host so many characters on their site." And me coming from like a tradition of like, my first character was on a piece of like lined ruled like normal notebook paper. Like it wasn't even a proper like official character sheet.
Yeah.
You know, like and so like I was like struggling to like fully conceptualize the idea that like you could have a limited number of characters, you know? And so like that sucks. I am sad about that idea. But if you have the book in your hand, it's your book, you know? And so like, it's not microtransactions in that sense. You know, I'm sure they'll supplement the hell out of it. You know, I'm sure that in 5 years they will have released 10, you know, supplement books with a bunch of backgrounds and, you know, more races and more class, like, you know, and subclasses and stuff, you know, like that's what they always do. I think the thing to just enjoy is the fact that like the game's still here, you know, and like I'm looking at my shelf right now of tabletop games, and a lot of it's 5th edition up there, which is mainly because that's the game that was the edition that was like out when I was like an adult and had money, you know. But like on there are my 3.5 books and my 1st edition book, and Dungeon World with all these like sticky notes sticking out of it from the last time I ran with it. You know, and like the fact is, deep down, these games, they're not really tied to the edition. They're not tied to.
That's a
anything,
good way
know?
to look at it. Yeah.
It's hard because so often D&D stands in as a phrase for tabletop role-playing games, you know? And that's weird to me sometimes. That's almost like saying like if Wizards of the Coast really goes full ham on like their virtual tabletop and it makes it really hard to play without it, that doesn't mean we're going to stop getting to play D&D. You know, last night I actually had a chance to go play as a player in a game of Mothership. I don't know if you've heard of that one. But it's like, it's kind of like Alien, the tabletop RPG, sort of like it's that like sort of like cassette futurism, horror, sci-fi, pretty hard sci-fi. I had a great time. It was super fun. And we were just around the table, you know, and I think that from here on out, there will be some divide between people who are playing virtually and it will be facilitated via virtual tabletops and whatnot. And there will be people who play in person. And I think there will be overlap, and I don't think either one's right or good or perfect or anything. But I think there will be a difference. Because something that's true about the virtual tabletops, for all their convenience that they're going to provide, and some already provide, they are locked. If you're going to be playing on D&D's forthcoming virtual tabletop, which some of it looks super cool, right? Like the minis, and you click the button and it does all the math for you, and you know, character creation's easier, like all of that. You know what you can't hack in?
What?
You just can't hack in anything. You have to play. There's no room for tinkering.
Right.
There's no room for GM fiat. There's no room for it. It's limited by the system, you know, in the same way that video games are limited by the system. And you know what that's good for? That's good for business, and it's good for ease, and it's good for like fun, neat digital stuff and playing at a distance with your friends. But you know something, you know, like, not to go back to our favorite campaign we ever did, but like there were no rules at the very end of that campaign where Ryan was furious at the Lich and wanted to save his NPC girlfriend by turning her into a vampire. There were no rules for that.
Yeah.
There were no rules for that. And then, but we could do it because we were at the table and we weren't limited by anything. And then years later, when I played that same NPC as a PC in a game we played, well, we hacked together the rules of being like, okay, what are the vampire powers? Like, how do we make this work? And we just made it work. It's tinkering. It's a hobby, right? And I think people should just really enjoy whatever they want to enjoy. And I think people who, I think like you and me, who have a lot of love for the tinkering side of the hobby, the hacking part of the hobby, the being really around the table, pen and paper side of the hobby, keep up with what other games are going on. For a long time, you could really just be a D&D person. That was totally a thing. I don't know if it'll stay that way. It just because there just might come a time where you can't play any other way, the official D&D, than through their platform. But I would be really surprised if games like Shadow Dark didn't keep coming out, or the MCDM RPG, which looks to be an inheritor of 4th edition of all things.
Yeah.
Or even Daggerheart, which I'm not the biggest, Critical Role fan, but like, good for them for making a cool RPG. Like, people seem to really like it,
Yeah. You want to know who's been playing Daggerheart lately?
Is it you?
It's not me. Take a guess.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ryan's been playing Daggerheart, and he's been hacking it and having a great time with it.
See, that's the thing, right? Like, it's just so fun. It's so fun to have these things and to be, sort of connected to them. And I think that's the important thing. I love D&D. But it's important to me to remind myself and other people that like D&D isn't what Wizards of the Coast makes. D&D is what we play together.
Yeah.
And more and more, I think it's really good to not bind yourself to a brand of something, right? Like, I love Magic, I love D&D, but is that what I love? Or is what I love playing these games, playing games with people I care about, doing puzzly things and being creative, right? And I think part of the angst that people feel around this edition and all of the messiness that was in the lead up to it is the fact that people love their games. They love their campaigns. They love their characters. They love their dungeon master, and they love it so much. And I think it felt like a betrayal.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to forget that it's that what Wizards is doing is not the same thing. That's not your game. They're not there to do that. And so I would just encourage people to enjoy this game because it's fun and it's good, and keep enjoying 2014's 5th edition because it's fun and it's good. But to not have it be devastating if this company lets you down, if you've got your friends and you've got the 2014 Player's Handbook, you're going to be good till the end of time. You know?
Yeah.
My uncle's still playing first edition. You know?
Yeah.
And it seems to work. Seems to be just fine. You know. So that's the bit I've got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if there's one reason why I would have bought the books, it's because my current edition is falling apart. The pages are starting to like melt together, like the glue's coming undone.
Yeah.
But okay, that's good to know. I feel like, I suppose the thing to be really afraid of is if Wizards ever stops publishing the physical copies of the book. If the game were to become fully digital,
Yeah.
then
That's like a thing where then like that might be the line for me, but I'd also be surprised if they ever stopped doing the book. I could see the book becoming a collector's item. Like I could see an edition in the future where it's like, here's the new book. It's $150 to have the book. The normal people are just gonna, like, everybody's just gonna play online though. The book is just a nice thing to have on your shelf, right? I could see that happening, but you know,
yeah,
not yet.
Yeah, definitely
So
not
yeah,
yet.
I'd say it's worth like playing if you think you're gonna play with it, you know.
I'll have to check in with my play group because I think everyone's very comfortable right now, but I'll be curious. Yeah, I mean, I guess that is something that I forgot to mention at the top of this, is that I actually have been playing regularly.
Nice.
And I've realized I really just like playing. Like, I don't know if I'm going to ever... There's a part, like, never say never, but there's a part of me that's like, I don't know if I'll buy the whole set next time. There's a part of me that's like, maybe I'll just buy the player's guide, because the DM thing is, I think I'm hanging up that cape.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
I think I just...
you don't need a better reason than I don't wanna, you know.
I mean, it's a combination of like, I don't really want to DM, but it's also, I think I don't get too much joy from crafting the world in the same way that I used to. I much more enjoy crafting a character and getting to interact with other characters who are played by friends.
Yeah.
And I think also it was from an accepting of the fact that I, as a dungeon master, I'm very good in a short adventure. I'm not very good in a long adventure. And the only kinds of games I want to be playing right now are long campaigns. And if I were to DM a long campaign, I just know I don't have that kind of dungeon master stamina. Because I notice I do get lazy sometimes, and I just feel like that is just not fun for the players. And I've also been very blessed to have a friend whom he really hates playing. He really just prefers to dungeon master, and so we can always play together because he'll always have a player and I'll always have a DM. And I think like that's a rare thing to find. And so I don't think I would feel like I could give up DMing without having had this friend in my life who is now the DM of my current play group.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's just because I think the experience I want is to feel like I am a character in the world, not the world filled with characters. And once I kind of like accepted that, it became a little easier to be like, maybe DMing's not the thing for me anymore. And Yeah, and so I think I was like, with the new edition and stuff, I was definitely curious because, like, I feel like fourth edition for me felt like the biggest change up in rule set. 2 to 3, a lot of the principles were the same, I felt, despite the switch from subtraction to addition.
Yeah.
But 3 to 4 felt like a really big switcheroo to this more like fast, quick MMO or like CRPG kind of play. And then when it went back to 5, 5 and 3 are basically the same. And so I think I was like kind of curious, like, are they going to just keep it with 5? And the fact that like you would describe the way you've described it to me today makes me feel like they understand that this is the most accessible the game's ever been.
Yep.
And this is the biggest they'll probably, like, there's infinite growth if the system doesn't change right now because the game is the biggest it's ever been.
Yeah. And they've switched to a different model thinking about revenue, right? Like, it used to be that if it's all about selling books, right? If that's where if you make your money, eventually there's going to be a drop off. And so releasing a whole new edition has a lot of value because then suddenly everybody's buying all the books, right? But with this, if the goal instead is to get people subscribed, you don't want to change the base product very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to stay the same.
Yeah.
And just kind of, supplemental rules or adjustments or streamlining of things.
Yeah, I would describe this as a big old patch, big patch to the base game, like huge rebalance of stuff, some really fun big new mechanics, but not enough where I'm like 4th edition does feel significantly different.
Yeah.
And I will say the difference between 3 and 5, while the baseline is the same, there is a significant difference, right? Like there's enough where I would definitely call those different, not fully compatible games.
Yeah.
Whereas like 5 and 5.5 or whatever you want to call it, that's the one thing that kills me about it is I'm like, this is not a good name.
What is the official name?
It's just the 2024 edition. 2025 edition. I don't know.
It's not like D&D Next or like D&D Forever.
Mm-hmm. No.
Huh. Okay.
No, it's just confusing.
Lovely.
It kind of has the same naming convention that the Xbox does, which is to be confusing. So yeah, it's definitely significantly compatible. Like I would say this is that right now it feels pretty compatible, but there's a part of me that's like, give it a couple years, and I think that the old stuff is really gonna phase out.
Okay.
Yeah, just because the other thing about it is I would also describe it as a slight power creep. The 2024 rules are just a little pound for pound. They're just a little bit more powerful characters.
Gotcha.
Which is the other reason why I think it'll eventually take in a big way. Because I think a few people will be like, because literally, like I built myself a dual wielding fighter, and it's strong and fun. It's fun to dual wield. And I was sitting there, I'm like, if someone told me that we were playing 2014, I'd be like, man, all right, fine. I'm not going to build a dual wielder though. It's not fun. Like that's the thing. That's the thing about it. Unless you're like a paladin Nova Smite main, if that's like your thing, yeah, you'll be disappointed. But like, if you like more than that, you probably won't be.
Okay.
Also, frankly, hey, everybody who loves paladins but are like, but my smiter's gone. Here's a quick build for you. Dual wield. Just dual wield something. Stay strength based if you want. Dex based is also fine. Then you can also use a bow, by the way. And then use the divine favor spell to be rolling and it makes you get a nick weapon, and suddenly you want to know what you'll be doing at fucking first level? You'll be attacking twice per turn, dealing 1d6 plus 1d4 plus your bonus with every hit. By fourth level, you take the right feat, you'll be attacking 3 times a turn doing that. Fifth level, you'll be doing 4 attacks like that. It's fucking wild. Have a good time. It's also great. Fucking, what are you even talking about? And you can still smite. It's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
It's still D&D. It's still fun.
Yeah.
And you know what? Truth is, the amount of fun you're going to have with this entirely dependent on who you're playing with.
Yeah.
Like always. Mm-hmm. If you have a bad group and you're having a bad time, that's probably because of the people you're playing with, not the game.
Yeah.
You know, I've played with genuinely bad systems. I recently played the Cyberpunk game with Sam, and you know what? I had a fucking blast. It was so much fun. You want to know why that was? Sam's a good DM. All the people I was playing with rock. Loved doing it. That's what was super cool about it. The system isn't all that good. It's just a little over torqued. It's a little complicated for no real reason. But the game was still a great time. You know? I played Mothership last night. Super simple system. There's not much going on under the hood. It's neat. It's really neat. But like, it's not hyper complex. Had an amazing time. You know?
Yeah.
I've gone to game stores, played 5th edition. 5th edition's a pretty good game. Solid. Had a horrible time. You know? Like,
yeah.
I've had a horrible time. You know, like, if you're playing this new 5th edition, you can have an amazing time with it. 4th edition is bemoaned as maybe the worst edition of D&D. I fucking had an amazing time playing 4th edition. I have nothing but good memories of 4th edition.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's
I have worse memories playing 3rd edition.
fair.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point, that, like, you know, the rules and the guide and the books and the way it's like, man, it's like, this is a dated reference, but I've been watching all these clips from Space Marine 2 and everyone's talking about, like, the codex that the Space Marines follow, and the main character's like dunking on this one dude for, like, being too rigid with how he interprets it. And then, like, that basically leads me this is like super spoilers for Space Marine, the franchise, for the Warhammer 40K games, but it, like, leads him to, like, become, like, labeled a heretic and stuff like that. It's a wild time. The point being, how we interpret the game matters more than what is actually written for the game. Especially with the people you're with. So, okay. Well, then maybe I'll give it a shot, because I'll pick up a copy from my local game store, if anything, to support the local game store.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
definitely do that.
So,
here's the thing. Seriously. You know what my favorite thing in the new 5th edition thing is right now? It's Champion Fighter. Fucking.
oh wow,
Yeah.
my favorite.
That's my dual wielding fighter. It's a Champion
Wow.
Fighter. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Like, oh my God.
My favorite class and combo.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, because Champion Fighter drops away all the other stuff, you get to focus on the weapon abilities, which are kind of like one of the big new things. And it's, like, super neat, you know? Yeah, have a good time. Have a good time with it, 100%. But, small teaser and potential pitch for next time. You know what's coming probably running around the next time we'll record, or the time after?
What?
The next Dragon Age.
Wait, it's coming out.
October 31st.
Wait, it's this year it's coming out?
October 31st.
No way. Holy shit. Fuck. You know what I just bought? I just bought fucking Jedi Survivor, and you know what? My fucking computer can't fucking play it. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. My computer's lovely. It's just a computer from a decade ago. Thank you, Nicholas Greenlee, for giving me all your parts all your computer parts to build this machine. But it has now, the limit is Jedi Survivor. and not even my Steam Deck can play Jedi Survivor. So I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to play Veilguard. I haven't even beat Inquisition yet. Man, you know, Dragon Age the Veilguard. Well, it's the Veilguard, not Veilguard. Oh,
Here's the thing.
It should just be.
What we can do? You know what we can do? We can do this again. We can. I'll play it, and I'll let you know.
I feel like the last like 3 things we've talked about. Well, because here's the thing. Like literally this weekend, I cracked the stupid idea of building another computer, and then like Zach and I were like breaking it down, and it's actually really affordable for me to build the kind of computer I want to build, that if it is strictly for gaming. And I'm like so tempted. I am so tempted. But
you can put a tick on that one.
Man,
supposedly the combat is more like Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
Same with the structure.
It seems like the even numbers are going to be like the great Dragon Age 2, which I don't have any issues with, but I know the community at large has issues with.
Yeah, I know. I know it. I know.
We've talked about this.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I still think it's the best one. It's definitely the best one.
I don't think I have it in me to beat Inquisition. I'll put it that way, because Inquisition already
so much. It's just
it's so much, and like it's also just like not it. The limits of a computer with parts from 2013, which was only like 2 years before Inquisition came out, but it's still not the most optimized experience that I've had. And I feel blessed to have this computer that can run all these games, but my goodness, I cannot believe Jedi Survivor nearly bricked both of my machines. I've never been so afraid for my life when the screen flashes all kinds of colors and then the whole thing turns off. And then takes like 30 minutes to reboot because it's fixing itself.
Yeah.
Man, maybe... Here's a better question, Dane. Should I just get a PlayStation or an Xbox?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Because like, I really like a keyboard. I really like a mouse. But because of the Switch, I've been using a controller.
Oh, have you?
And so I've gotten used to it now. And so I'm not as against it. But I don't know.
I don't know.
You know,
I like my PlayStation 5 a lot. I really do. I think the only consoles worth having for the exclusives really anymore is Nintendo.
Yeah.
You know, like I and truth be told, like more and more games are coming out only for the PC that I would rather be playing. You know, and so like probably next time.
Do you have a PC?
No, I don't. No.
Have you ever built one?
Mm-mm.
Would you ever want to build one?
No. I would. I'm gonna be honest. I know this is like heresy or whatever, but I'd rather pay someone to do it for me. Like I'd rather go to one of like the PC Center sort of places and just be like, hey, I will pay the extra $200 or whatever for you to put all the parts together for me, and I can come back in 2 days and pick it up. Sorry. Like,
oh man, but what if I came to you and helped you build it?
That's very tempting, but that's because I want to hang out with you.
I know. That could be a great time to hang out.
But I don't have fun with like fiddly shit, and I don't like trying to put things. I don't like.
You don't like that?
No, it frustrates me.
I literally just took apart Pauline's MacBook.
It drives me nuts.
And I had all the screws laid out in the order I took them out, and I put it back together from memory, and it was exhilarating.
No, I hate that. I hate it so much. It stresses me out. And then if something goes wrong, it frustrates me. I want the thing to work. That's probably why I've still had consoles as long as I have. Is because it comes out of the box and I plug it in the TV and I'm like, boom, I'm here, I'm playing, hooray! Like that's all I want. Like I don't enjoy the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
and I don't like it doesn't give me a sense of greater ownership or anything. It's just an additional step between me and what I actually want to be doing.
Okay, so here's a question. Top 5 games you're going to purchase if you were to have a PC right now.
Oh shit.
Like this includes games that like you already own, but you were just like, I want to play it on PC. What would they be? Or maybe top 3 if you can't come up with 5, or top 2.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay. Good choice.
Skyrim, both of
Nice.
those for mod purposes, to get to play them with mods. Let me think. I might try and find a way to play Dragon Age 2, actually.
Yeah.
If I could.
Yeah.
Might dig around for that.
Oh, you could definitely play it on ultra graphics. That's
Why?
how. Yeah. I'll put it this way: my computer from 2013 can handle Dragon Age 2 on ultra like a fucking champ.
Oh, I bet it can.
Because it's 2 years after that game came out, and let me tell you, Dane, it is one of the games I do install every year now. I've played it like 3 times in the last 3 years.
I'd probably Faster Than Light FTL. I would play the crap out of that again.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I would
You used to play that on your iPad, right?
Yes, I fucking miss that game every like 3 to 4 weeks. I miss that game. Okay, so there's 4. 5th game. I haven't said a new thing, like a newer thing, like a thing I haven't played before. And it's probably because I make lists of these things and then I realize I can't play them, and so then I like push them away and be like, I don't want it, like lying to myself. What would I play? Honest to God, I think I would go dig up something akin to like an early Diablo or like the original Baldur's Gate or something.
Nice. Some classic CRPGs.
Something,
Icewind Dale.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
okay.
something old school. And then I would dig around. I would go through Steam like nobody's business. I would go looking for stuff. Oh, I'd download the original Cave Story. I'd also do that.
Cave Story.
Yeah, Cave Story rocks. It's been re-released more officially, but you can still go out onto the internet and find the original like download files, and like you can download it straight onto there. There's a folder and everything. Super fun.
Interesting. This is definitely the kind of game you would play.
Of course.
A Metroidvania platform adventure developed for Microsoft Windows.
Yep. Made by one person.
One person over 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Escape
Super
Pixelamaya. Cool. Wow.
Yep.
I feel like someone's referenced him to me, but I've not.
It was me.
Okay.
I played it back in middle school.
Well, there we go. Yeah. So, okay. I'll have to read into this. Man, what is up with all these release dates, dude? Like, games come out like every freaking year. There's a new iPhone every 6 months. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I had to wait 5-6 years for Tears of the Kingdom.
It's been 10 years since Inquisition. That's not yesterday. It's been 10 years.
You're right. It has been 10 years. It's just Inquisition just feels like a 30-year game. So I just and maybe it's just because like I just got Jedi Survivor, which came out last year, and so to me it's like, oh, all these new games.
I think it came
Slow
out
down.
2 years ago.
Did it? Fuck. No, it was just last year, but it's like a year and a half technically. So it's almost 2 years.
Okay.
But Jesus,
Wow, I got around to playing that kind of quick. Good for me.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, dude. I'm still working through Tears of the Kingdom, and
I haven't played it.
I know you haven't, but man,
Bounced right off that.
I'm still pushing myself through it, and I got to another boss fight, and I'm just kind of waiting until I have 8 hours to do that boss fight. But I just,
There you go.
you know, maybe the other reason why I'm not so jazzed about all these technology things and video games is because I am actually just enjoying Dungeons and Dragons in its most basic, non-modded form for the first time in a very long time. And having an analog gaming experience is like the rarest thing these days to me. And so having that is like, it fulfills all my needs that these games used to try and fulfill, but damn it. I said to myself, I'm not going to buy another video game. And then I bought Jedi Survivor because it was on sale and I had Steam credit. Now I'm definitely going to buy Dreadwolf before the end of the year.
Dreadwolf? Oh, no.
Or not Dreadwolf, Veilguard.
No. Veilguard. They changed that, don't you, silly?
I'm such an old man. I'm such an old man. I wake up and my whole body's sore. My knee's been hurting as the weather's changing. And I like know I need to go to bed. Okay. I'm an old man, but have you watched Ping Pong the animation?
No.
You should watch Ping Pong the animation. It has made me feel so young.
Why? What? Why? What
I don't know.
What
It just,
what is this?
It is
what
one
is
of the
this thing you're talking of.
Ping Pong the animation by.
I don't know what that means. What is this?
It's an anime that's 11 episodes about the craft and sport and godhood that is ping pong, and it does what haiku does in like 5 seasons or whatever, 4 seasons. It does in like 8 episodes. I've just been watching through this, and it's one of the most incredible pieces of art I've ever consumed. The manga is by Taiyo Matsumoto, but the anime is directed by Masaki Yuasa, and he's like the hidden master of Japanese animation. That's all I'll say about his work, Dane.
Okay.
And I mean, he did Devilman Crybaby, if you've seen that.
Nope.
Okay. And he did Keep Your Hands Off Aizuken. Have you seen that? Or read that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, all things you should look at some point. But
Right.
anyway, I think that has been the thing. Sports. I've been back into sports as well. I have been doing
Really?
martial arts in my own time. I have been
Awesome.
training and talking with like my old classmates from that era. It's been, I don't know, like I'm such an old man. My priorities have shifted to such analog needs. Like I almost bought a Sony Walkman for no reason. I don't have a single cassette, and I thought maybe it might be cool just to listen to music that way. I am still buying music like an old man.
That's cool.
But it's been good. I am about to buy all of Japanese Breakfast and just listen to that. But I also, I don't know, tying it all together, like, I wonder if Veilguard will give me a sense of like what I love about Dragon Age again, or if it'll just kind of feel like Inquisition to me, or feel like so many other games in this genre that really just kind of feels like soulless and generic and identityless. Like, I don't know, like, I mean, maybe we should do an episode about like how a lot of folks are talking about how much Dragon Age has changed over the years, but I don't know. I'm curious how this is gonna go. It seems like, yeah, that's it.
Me too.
Anyway, this was our D&D and also random other stuff episodes, it seems.
Hell yeah.
But I think it's about time. It's been about an hour, and you probably need to go do dinner and bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a school night for you, my boy.
I know. It's a work night.
It's a work night. Oh God.
It's my one work night a week. Well, I actually work kind of intermittently through the week. It's the one day a week. Fridays are the one day a week I go into the office.
I see.
Weirdly.
Oh man, Friday you go into the office.
Friday I go into the office.
Wow.
Yeah. It's because I have no classes.
Gotcha.
So I can justify the drive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I was just in the office today. I lost a raffle. I took some photographs of some scuffs, and I looked at the pots and pans and was thinking about how I still haven't beat Elden Ring. As I looked at all of the giant vessels that could be spinning around attacking me. Anyway,
I don't think I understand your job anymore.
I don't know if I do either.
Oh, fun fact, before I go. Played the Elden Ring DLC. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? Okay.
I didn't like it. But that's a question. That's a thing for another time.
Yeah, another thing for another time. We'll see if I ever. You want to know what I did do in Elden Ring before I gave up playing? I got the Guts sword.
Nice.
And maybe that's all I really needed in my life.
Sometimes that's all you ever need.
Yeah. But okay, Dane, I will let you go. Thank you for all these rambles, and thank you for just educating me on the new edition. I was pretty skeptical, and now I feel a little more open-minded about it. And or not even open-minded. I just feel like, oh, I won't feel bad if I go pick up a copy. Like I won't feel like I'm contributing to the crypto DnD or whatever.
No, that's
the wizard blockchain. I don't know. Oh, is that Winter or is that?
That is Finch. He is unhappy about something.
Oh, Finch. Well,
I don't know what. I'll have to go find out.
Yeah. All right. Till next time. Till next month.
Yep. I'll catch you later.
See you around, dude.